Sample exercise 2. In this exercise we have 2 assemblies and 3 parts. Okay, we have the sub-assembly 2. As you can see, this sub-assembly is empty, okay, and it will contain both the guide and the pin. Okay, and we have the assembly 2. Okay, it's empty also, and it will contain the slot and the sub-assembly 2. Now the 3 parts, we have the guide, the pin, and the slot. The guide, okay, and we have the pin with a mass of 0.5 kilo, okay, and we have the slot part. In this part we have sketched some references. We have the ref 0 sketch. It's the guide of the pin, it's the guide of the movement of the pin, and we have this point, it's the initial position of the pin with its polar coordinates, okay, and we have the ref 1 datum plane, is the direction of movement of the guide. Okay, now let's get started solving the exercise. Open the sub-assembly 2. Okay, it's empty as you can see. Now insert the guide part. This part has taken place automatically and will be the ground reference of this assembly or of this sub-assembly. Now let's connect the pin part to the guide by a general connection, a slider equivalent connection. General, okay, align the front with the front, coincident of course, and then align the top with the top of the guide, coincident also. Okay, rename this connection to G1. Okay, now close this sub-assembly and open the assembly 2. This assembly is also empty as you can see. Now let's insert the first part, which is the slot part. This part has taken place automatically and will be the ground reference of this assembly. Okay, now let's connect the sub-assembly to the slot, sub-assembly 2. Okay, connect it by a general connection. General, okay, align this surface with this one, okay, and then align the right of the guide with ref 1. Okay, rename this connection to G2. Alright, now the initial position of the assembly or the initial position of the pin. Okay, align point P with point ref 30 degrees. Okay, take a snapshot and rename it to 30 degrees position. Okay, now let's go to mechanism application. Okay, first thing to do is to connect the pin to the slot or to the circular slot. Okay, this can be done by using the cams. Let's connect it to this side. Okay, first auto select to have all these surface selected. Okay, then for cam 2 select this side. Okay, and enable liftoff with E equals 0. Okay, now let's connect it to the other side. Auto select to have all these surface selected, then select this side or this surface, okay, and enable liftoff with E equals 0. Alright. Now, as you can see, the pin is connected to the slot. While the guide is moving upward, the pin is moving inside the slot. Okay? Now the initial velocity of the guide, servo motors, and select the G2 axis, direction is correct, and choose here velocity, and for the magnitude is equal to 2. Okay, rename it to V0. Alright. Now the initial conditions, and we have to choose here the 30 degrees position snapshot. Okay. Now the measures, we have only one measure, which is the force exerted by the pin on the circular slot. Let's define it. Measures, new, and choose here connection reaction. The pin and the slot are connected by a cam connection. Let's select this connection. Okay, and exerted on cam 2, exerted on the circular slot. We have to choose cam 2 here. Okay, rename it to P. Alright. Now the analysis. It's a dynamic analysis. Enable the gravity if you want. Okay. We have the motor V0, the initial velocity of the guide. Okay. And for the initial configuration, we have to choose initial condition 1, which contains the initial position of the pin. Okay. For the duration, choose it 0. Okay. Which means that this analysis will start from this position and will finish at the same position. Okay. Rename it to D0. All right. Finally, let's run the analysis D0 to find out the force exerted by the pin on the circular slot. D0, run. Okay, now go to measures to see the results. So we have the force exerted by the pin on the slot. Okay, here is the result. Now save the analysis D0. Okay, and save your work. That's all for sample exercise 2.